Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
Infowars reporter Owen Shroyer joins us now. I want to get your take on all this. The Russians are coming. What do you think?
Well, I think it's more likely that the Democrats are coming because we've already caught the Democrats rigging elections. And it's not just, Obama. It's not just a conspiracy theory. According to Obama, he's never even heard of it. I mean, these things are so elusive and so rare. He's never even heard of rigged elections. But actually, we have Barack Obama, who is tied to Acorn. Now, we have dozens of these cases, Darrin, okay, but I picked out a couple of my favorites here. Over 3,000 fraudulent voter registrations were filed by Acorn in St. Louis, my hometown. Mm-hmm. In Pennsylvania, officials threw out almost 60,000 voter registrations that were filed by Acorn. And then in Texas, almost 10,000 Acorn submitted registrations were found invalid. So this is almost, we're up around 70,000 fake ballots trying to be cast by Acorn, but Obama says he has no idea what a rigged election is. It goes on. Not just have Acorn been caught trying to submit fake registrations, they've had employees be indicted. 4 Acorn employees were indicted in Kansas City. 8 Acorn employees were indicted in St. Louis. You had Nevada authorities indict Acorn on 26 counts of voter registration, 7 Acorn workers in Pittsburgh. So it just goes on and on. So it's not the Russians are coming, Darrin. It's that the Democrats are coming, and guess what? They're coming under a pseudonym you've heard of before. This is a joke to the Democrats. They don't even take this seriously. They tried to register Mickey Mouse, Donald Duck, and the entire Cowboys starting lineup to vote in the 2008 presidential election. So I think it's the Democrats that are coming to rig this election, not the Russians. But isn't that the theme, though, Darrin? It's the Russians' fault for everything.
Well, it's the Russians' fault for everything. And I was going to tell you that my mom voted Republican her entire life until the day she died. And then she started voting Democrat.
Well, that's typical.
But let me tell you something. Hey, we know that the Republicans are responsible for voter fraud in the past, too, especially now that the electronic voting systems are in place. It is just a recipe for disasters. So the elections can be thrown any direction, any way the establishment wants them to. I think it's very alarming to hear all this rhetoric about the Russians possibly stealing the election, because if Donald Trump were to win, they can always say, hey, it was rigged, man, and we can't allow this. And then what's going to happen?
Well, and that's probably what they're going to say. Mm-hmm. And we already see the UN taking over the internet. We already see DHS saying they want to watch the elections. This, to me, has signs of false flag cybersecurity terror attack written all over it. They blame Trump winning on the Russians hacking the election, and then the UN and whatever federal bureaucracy they want comes in, takes complete control over the internet, and you know what they'll do next? They're going to try to shut us down, they're going to try to shut Drudge Report down, and they're going to try to shut you down. You won't be allowed to operate because your content is going to need to be censored. Like YouTube just is demonetizing. That's just phase one, Darrin.
And they will say Donald Trump is a sore loser. Meanwhile, let's not forget what Joseph Stalin once said: the people who cast the votes decide nothing. The people who count the votes decide everything.
You said in a speech today you're afraid this election is going to be rigged.
I've been hearing about it for a long time, and I hope the Republicans get out there and watch very closely.
This new poll is showing a big convention bounce for Hillary Clinton.
Following her nomination at the Democratic National Convention, Hillary Clinton now leads it. Donald Trump, 50% to 42%. That's a 7-point jump from last week.
You see, he's supposed to just sit there and let them steal it, but he didn't sit there, so they failed. And they think they're going to have another stolen general election in front of everybody at high noon, and we're just going to sit here and go along with it. We're not. I'm going to fight it. Trump's going to fight it. You're going to fight it.
Bob Mulholland from Chico, California. I'm a DNC member, thus a superdelegate to the National Convention.
First of all, it's rigged. And I'm afraid the election's going to be rigged. I have to be honest.
And the way we work is that anybody who gets 15% more in election gets delegates. So this election will go all the way to California. Sanders will end up with well over 1,000 delegates, and Hillary will get the nomination.
Hillary Clinton.
Like Debbie said from the start.
Hillary Clinton has had every advantage, every break given to her from the very beginning by this Democratic Party. It has been rigged.
It is clearly the case that when given truth serum, Debbie Wasserman Schultz vastly prefers Hillary Clinton to be the nominee, obviously, and to the extent there are things that can be done institutionally and marginally to facilitate that outcome, they are being done.
If Hillary steals the nomination, and then she openly is engaged in chicanery and things don't add up with Trump, you have to say it must be thrown out.
The political parties choose their nominee, not the general public, contrary to popular belief.
Then why bother holding the primaries?
That's a very good question.
WikiLeaks has dumped nearly 20,000 hacked emails from the DNC.
We're talking about the report of leaked DNC emails showing an effort to undermine Bernie Sanders during the primaries.
The American people are sick and tired of hearing about your damn emails.
Thank you.
When did the press see it as their role to protect the prerogative of the powerful? Actually, I think that's part of it.
And we're not going to recognize Queen Hillary if there's evidence of fraud. And guess what there is? She stole the nomination.
I want to thank Bernie Sanders.
If he would have just not done anything, just go home, go to sleep, relax, he would have been a hero. But he made a deal with the devil. She's the devil. He made a deal with the devil.
The media has created the perception that the voters will decide the nomination, and that's the concept. That's the conflict here.
We feel like we live in a democratic society. What you're telling me is it's not a democratic society, and your votes don't necessarily matter because it's a democratic representation.
Crooked Hillary thinks they're going to pull what they did on Mitt Romney. Lady, isn't going to happen. That's why her campaign head, her chief strategist, said, this is dangerous what Trump's doing. You're right, it is dangerous, isn't it? Actually standing up to you.
I continue to believe Mr. Trump will not be president.
And I'm telling you, November 8th, we better be careful because that election is going to be rigged.
Yes, I think the Republican nominee is unfit to serve as president.
And I hope the Republicans are watching closely or it's going to be taken away from us.
You're going to be hearing a lot more about this, ladies and gentlemen, because Donald Trump's not going to let you be robbed, myself be robbed, or him be robbed or his family.
There has to come a point at which you say, enough.
Talk show host is Alex Jones. He's a conspiracy theorist.
Radio talk show host Alex Jones.
Alex Jones.
Jones is the wildly popular conspiracy theorist.
Radio talk show host and conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
Deeply, I think, racist.
I just got called racist by MSNBC.
I don't want that man to have a gun.
1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms.
The Alex Jones Show. Watch the free stream live at Infowars.com/show.
We have the new product at InfoWarsLife.com, BioTrue Selenium.
We've had so many requests over the years for selenium, and just recently we were able to source a certified organic, bioavailable selenium from mustard seed extract. When you take selenium in the body, it actually benefits the detoxification systems in your body. It helps balance the thyroid gland. It helps detoxify.
Selenium is another one of those absolute must-haves.
The highest concentration of selenium is in the thyroid gland, but it's actually used all over the body. As a matter of fact, there's 25 genes in the body that are directly dependent upon selenium. So it really is a all-around nutrient that everybody really needs.
I'm taking it now every day. This is so key. BioTrue Selenium is the product, the best selenium that we could bring you. We believe it's the best out there at a very, very low price. Exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139.